Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with this year's Physical Game of the Year. It's been a good year for games, and as my first full year doing Physical Paradise, this time it's going to be for all consoles, not only the Nintendo Switch. There were a few stipulations and the rules and stuff like that, and if you want to know all of those, they are in the description, and it may answer your question as to why your particular choice wasn't in this list. Let's jump straight into the top 15 physical games of the year as voted for by you. This is all down to you guys, and it's about the quality of the game, not the quality of the physical release, okay? Number 15. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster. Gordon Bennett, was this year? I can't believe that. I would have voted for this myself, but for some reason I thought it came out last year. Thankfully, even without my vote, it just managed to squeeze onto this Physical Games of the Year list. This includes a remake of the first two games in the series and a very welcome chance at a second life to a new audience. And I do truly love these games. I know some people think the remakes look cheap, and I get it. The production isn't the best that it could be, but when you're playing, I think it does a fine enough job. But it's the gameplay, the stories that are key for these games. You get an incredible narrative of political intrigue, heroes, villains, tragedies, things that have stayed with me for a lifetime. It released physically on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox, and also Nintendo Switch 2, but as a game key. Number 14, Octopath Traveler 0. This is a pretty new game. It only came out a few weeks ago, and I think it might have ended up higher on this list had more people had the time and chance to play it. This is perhaps more of a spin-off of the series, but still retaining the great battle system, the 8-character system, although now focused on a created character, and it has base building elements, which is something that always entices me. And if you get this with like the double pack of 1 and 2, you've got yourself a great JRPG trilogy. Games that look great, sound great, play great. Maybe the story could, be a bit hit or miss, at least in the first game, but they seem to be getting better and better. This released physically on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation 5 in the West. Japan got it on PlayStation 4, and there was also a game key on Nintendo Switch 2. Number 13, Cyberpunk 2077, the miracle port to Nintendo Switch 2. CD Projekt Red's ambitious futuristic first-person RPG was an important release to not only show off the system, but also the power of physical media. It was one of the few proper Nintendo Switch 2 cartridges at launch, and the support for this has no doubt encouraged other smaller publishers to go for it too. And I heard the port is surprisingly good, better than some other versions out there. Not only were you supporting physical media, but you were getting a damn good game too. It's definitely pricey, but at least you're getting a quality time with it. Number 12, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I did not expect to see this on the list. Again, I kind of forgot it came out this year. March seems like such a long time ago. A port of a Wii U game, perhaps one of the holy grails that people were really hoping for many, many years. I think most had given up by one point, and I do think the late arrival of this on the Nintendo Switch did affect its impact, but seemingly not so much with you guys who voted for it here. A massive open world JRPG, very open in its storytelling, at least it was when I played it on Wii U. This, I believe, tightened up the story and added some things to it. You fly mechs around a strange planet and help your stranded space city survive. It's really unique and pretty good. I love the battle theme music, and this only released physically on Nintendo Switch. Number 11, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I often joked about this being the year of the ninja, but sadly, the only ninja game to make this list is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Its main rival, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, only got a couple of votes. Developed by Lizardcube, who did wonders with the Wonder Boy remake and Streets of Rage 4, they may have outdone themselves with this gorgeous-looking and fantastically playing action game. The physical release was a bit of a faff. I don't want to get into it too much here since it would grind the video to a halt, but the physical is out there on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox depending on your region. Number 10, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma was a big hit for Marvelous, cited as a big comeback for the series. It sold very well. It was a Nintendo Switch physical as well as a Nintendo Switch 2 physical release on a proper cartridge. I suppose this is more of a side game than a normal mainline entry, but yeah, it's got a different vibe than normal, but also it corrects the mistakes that Rune Factory 5 made, and that disappointed so many people. This mixes action RPG, farming, and romancing. It has a little bit of everything for a little bit of everyone. It's cozy, but also quite an exciting experience, and it really paid off. One of the publisher's more successful games in recent times. I would like to know from you guys, which physical did you buy, Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2? Number 9, The 100 Line. A game with 100 endings sounds incredibly daunting, but for a 100-hour experience, you're getting one of the best games of the year. Some play for even double or triple that if they want everything the game has to offer. A sleeper hit of sorts. The initial print of the game sold out, and it was really hard to get a hold of one once word of mouth spread how awesome the game was. At one point, this game was going for hundreds of dollars on eBay. This is a mix of visual novel, adventure game with strategy RPG elements too. Even some comparisons to Persona with like social links and things like that. Definitely one of the best games of the year, and you can now finally readily find it physically on Nintendo Switch right around now. Speaking of which, if you want to purchase any of the games in this video physically, then please check the links down below in the description and pinned comment. You can purchase from the excellent VGP, who offer free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks, which is like 54 American dollars, really not that much at all. Plus, any purchase made via those links massively helps support me and this channel in the best way humanly possible, and I do truly thank you ever so much. Number 8, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is a recent release, but it still managed to get super high on this list. Available physically on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 as a Switch 2 edition, this is a long-awaited return into the visor of Samus Aran, as she blasts aliens and explores mysterious environments. Reviews for it weren't as strong as I expected. Maybe it was just a bit too much to live up to, what came before. But in the hands of my dear physical fiends, it's only been a couple of weeks, and yet it still proved this popular. It looks great and runs nice too, even on the OG Switch. Retro Studios really wanted to make sure this game sang. Did you grab a Switch physical or a Nintendo Switch 2 physical? Let me know. Number 7, Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. Lucky number 7 for a fantastic double pack of remakes of classic JRPGs. You get 2 in 1, and they are both now in the HD 2D visual style with additional content to pad out what were, originally pretty short JRPG games. Expected for the era, but less acceptable this day and age. They come together to make a great trilogy if you include the third game, which came out last year, although that didn't stop a couple of people trying to vote for it this year. Perhaps now that all 3 games are in the same style, not only visually but mechanically too, they've lost a little bit of their original identity, which kind of happened with the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, but considering they are a trilogy, I think it brings them together nicely. Plus there are, alternative ways to play the originals and stuff like that, but yeah, this released physically on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5 and Xbox. It also got a Nintendo Switch 2 Game Key release. Number 6, Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles is a remake of the utter classic Final Fantasy Tactics, the universally loved strategy RPG that blew my mind as a kid. I absolutely love this game with all my heart, but specifically the PlayStation 1 version. That's kind of ingrained within me, so I found this remake to enjoy personally, but from a non-biased perspective, which unlike most of the internet I'm very capable of doing, this is an essential release. Tactical RPGs don't get better than this in terms of production, for the time of course, the music, the story, the gameplay mechanics. Yeah, there are quirks that you'd find if you played the game to death, but going in fresh, you are in for one hell of an experience. This released physically on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 in the West, but Japan also got a PlayStation 4 version if you care about that, and a Nintendo Switch 2 code in a box bullshit. But let's not talk about that. Let's not spoil the party. Number 5, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. Not a bad entry for a game that is an import-exclusive physical release. Yes, the only game on this list that you can only get physically by importing it from Asia or Japan. They do play in English, and it is highly recommended from me personally. I did vote for this myself, and it deserves it since it's such an awesome game. Yeah, this is my favorite game of the year, wholeheartedly. It's an action-adventure RPG with a smidge of cozy live sim thing going on. It's a tour de force in terms of things going on in the game that all come together to make a fantastic experience. It truly takes me back to a better time in gaming. Physically, it's on PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2 on a proper cartridge in Japan. Plays in English, and it's well worth importing. Number 4, Hades 2 is definitely the biggest indie game on Switch 2 this year, physically of course. It didn't even release physically on the original Switch, although you can play the Switch 2 cartridge on your OG Switch console. I find that a really great feature even to this day. But anyways, the much anticipated sequel to one of the most successful and influential roguelikes in history, this one lived up to the hype. Maybe not surpassing Hades, but definitely satisfying the desire for more of the same awesome gameplay, the story, attention to detail. It is a top tier physical release to add to your Switch 2 collection, that is for sure. Number 3, Donkey Kong Bananza is the biggest Switch 2 physical on this list, and it is the Switch 2's answer to Mario Odyssey. In fact, it feels like Mario Odyssey with a DK skin at times, which may be a bit rude to the developers who no doubt spent years and years putting this together, but it's also praised because Mario Odyssey is a classic. I can't say myself, since me and my daughter, we've only played this for a couple of hours so far. I've been really enjoying it, and so have my physical fiends, putting it very highly on this list. And no, I didn't count the bloke whose 3 votes were for this game 3 times. I only counted you once, okay? You can't get that by me, okay? It is a 3D platformer that is extremely well polished. Personally, I did enjoy Yooka-Laylee a bit more. I'm sorry to say that, but you know, maybe when I finally have more time to dedicate to this, maybe it'll blow my mind. It's too early for me to say. But what's not too early to say is that this is one of the early quintessential releases for the Nintendo Switch 2. Number 2, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Alright guys, I think at this point I can't put it off much longer. I've heard nothing but good things about this game. I mean, okay, Jeff Keighley saying nice things about something makes me instantly wary, but the fact you, my physical fiends, stuck this at number 2 speaks volumes. This is a physical channel, however, due to my roots and personal biases, it's fair to say my audience share is very much in favor of the Nintendo Switch. So the fact that a PlayStation 5 and Xbox game release only soared this high is truly a testament to how bloody good of a game this must be. Before we get into number 1, if you are new here, just a reminder to subscribe. It will be the best thing you do today, I promise. Support physical media by subscribing to this channel and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. You know it makes sense. Number 1, Trails in the Sky. First chapter. Well, this is a turn-up for the books. The JRPG that was totally ignored at the Game Awards is number 1 for the Physical Fiends here at Physical Paradise, which is the true gaming awards here. I think it is you, my Physical Fiends. A fantastically received remake of the first entry in the niche but extremely well-loved Trails series. Here we can see where it all started now in proper 3D, looking nice and vibrant while retaining the fantastic story and giving players a choice in either action combat or turn-based, depending on your preference. It got incredible reviews, and if Falcom bring the momentum into the remake of the second game, many say that one could be the best JRPG ever made. This is available physically on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5, and there we have your physical games of the year. An interesting list for sure, and let me tell you some surprising facts about it. Mario Kart World only got 4 votes. Somebody boldly voted for Rune Factory 4, which came out 5 years ago. 3 people voted for the same game 3 times. Sorry, I only counted them as 1. I know exactly who voted for these, Marin. I see ya. And nobody can decide how to correctly spell Clair Obscur Expedition 33. In fact, I'm still not sure myself. Thank you for a great year. The channel grew by 13,500 subscribers this year. If we can do the same next year, man, that would be amazing. Please spread the word to your physical friends about Physical Paradise. I am nowhere near done for this year in terms of video content, but I do want to thank you right now for your support, especially with the links and purchases. That really makes the hard work worth it, and please enjoy some of my other videos. Have a great day. Take care.